Good Tuesday morning to you. This is July the 28th, 2026. And we're bringing this to you because several of you have said you have not heard anything about this email, the breach of the email system of the town of Petersburg. So this was actually in last week's edition of the Elk Valley Times. And for those of you that maybe don't want to sit here and try to read this on your screen, well, we're going to narrate it for you. And again, this is credit to the Elk Valley Times and the issue from Wednesday, July the 22nd, 2026. You can find it on page page A8, if there's still some copies out there, or you could do like we do and subscribe to the electronic edition. But this is titled Petersburg BOMA, that is Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Petersburg BOMA looks for legal options following breach of email system. And this is credited to staff writer Miss Wanda Sutherland. Concerns remain with the Board of Mayor and Aldermen regarding a breach of the town of Petersburg's email system following the resignation of an employee more than a year ago. During the July 7th BOMA monthly meeting, Mayor Chantel Gatlin said she needs the, quote, help of the board in making a decision, end quote. She then presented two options stating, quote, after all, one of our many jobs as alderman and mayor is to safeguard the town's information. Mayor Gatlin said following the resignation of an employee on March the 7th, 2025, she realized the town was still paying for an email account for this employee. She said when she sat down at the computer and opened the Google Workspace account, someone was actively logged into the town's email system, quote, using an IP address used extensively by the former employee. The user was actively downloading documents. One of these documents was in regard to another town employee and of a personal nature. With the resignation of the employee, many privileges of this former position were no longer active, said Mayor Gatlin. It is my belief that this information should not have been downloaded and the user had no legal authority to do so. There also appear to be numerous files that had been deleted by the same user. She said she used her administrative privilege and changed the user password, thereby blocking any future attempts of this user to log in to the town's email system and possibly continue downloading or deleting files. According to Mayor Gatlin, after the password was changed, quote, the user made numerous attempts to regain access that same day. There have been at least 3 further attempts made to gain access since March 31st, 2025 by this user. The last attempt known to have occurred was on January the 15th, 2026, well after this user began his new job. Mayor Gatlin told the board this intrusion, quote, could be illegal considering the IP address belongs to someone who no longer is employed by the town. Also, the 2-week notice given by the owner of the IP address has passed 10 days earlier. She said the computer usage is clearly noted to be for town employees, not former employees. Mayor Gatlin said she contacted the district attorney's office. I was told they could look into this, but they encouraged me to present it to Sheriff Toll Malone for investigation first, as we were actively working on an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, that is, with him. I made contact with the sheriff, and he sent Chief Deputy John McDonald to retrieve this information. The two options presented to the board were this. Should we turn this account off and not continue paying to keep it open if the sheriff's department is not going to go forward with it? Or do we keep it open and seek legal action on the town's behalf? Mayor Gatlin said when she first logged into the Google Workspace account, one of the first things she did was I started doing print screens immediately that show the dates and times the intrusion was trying to be made. I then took the IP address, did a search on the location, also used the longitude and latitude, and it comes up to the address to where this former employee resides. She said the benefits of keeping the email address open after talking to the district attorney's office would be to go ahead with prosecution. Mayor Gatlin said, although she has an information and technology background, I'm not a forensic cyber investigator. I can't tell you what was deleted because it wouldn't show me. It just let me know that there had been files deleted. When you have a government computer, you don't delete anything off of them. you're supposed to leave everything intact. She said the Google Workspace gives you lots of options to go back and look historically at what's been done. So that's what I started doing. He was on this account, was actively seen downloading files of a personal nature. The person's file he was downloading didn't know about this, Mayor Gatlin said. She said the person has since been notified. I don't mind telling you the email account was with matthew.griffey@petersburg.tn.gov/chief. And it was going to griffey14@hotmail.com. Mayor Gatlin said, I don't believe that's a fictitious account. I went ahead and did further research because he has a business, and that is the email listed on his business. She told the board, I did put that in your packet. Alderman Logan Jolly asked if the district attorney had given any advice if it's worth pursuing. Mayor Gatlin said the district attorney knew the board was actively working on a memorandum of understanding, that is a MOU, with the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office. He said Sheriff Malone had a really good investigative team, and he might want this. Alderman Charles Gatlin said the employee had 2 weeks to gather information before his last day on the job. After that, he was no longer an employee and, quote, had no right to use the computer. He said it is his understanding that when an officer resigns, gives a 2-week notice, turns in their badge, and walks out the door, that officer is no longer an officer unless they immediately step into another law enforcement agency. It was noted an officer remains a certified officer, just not an employee. Alderman Jolly recommended leaving the account open. Vice Mayor Kevin Caulfield asked what the cost of keeping the account would be. The cost wasn't discussed. Alderman Gatlin made a motion to keep the account open and for the mayor to contact the town attorney for his recommendations. In a phone call, Sheriff Tom Malone said this all transpired before Deputy Matt Griffey came to work for the sheriff's office. He said in conversations with Mayor Gatlin many, many months ago, he used the words tried to log in and believed to have logged in. The sheriff's department doesn't have a special forensic investigator. This remains an ongoing investigation, so I really can't talk about it, Sheriff Malone said. Again, this is from last week's Elk Valley Times, dated Wednesday, July the 27th, 2026, can be found on page A8. The Petersburg Board of Mayor and Aldermen looking for legal options following a breach of their email system. If you didn't know about this story, well, you know it now. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in.